Good evening, Pete here from A Bit Twisted. So today we're going to take a look at adjusting your drive band. So with adjusting the drive band, there are a few issues that you need to make sure are working well so you can have a properly adjusted drive band. And that's just basically looking at making sure everything spins really well with no any drag before you actually get started. So back off my tension so it's just kind of sitting and spin my wheel. And so it's nice and smooth. So everything's been oiled, nothing's bound up for the wheel. So I don't know about the rest of it yet. So now what I need to do is I need to look at the the flyer itself. So I want my flyer to spin. Just take it and spin it. So the bushings should be oiled lightly, just so they have enough, and also to make sure that the bushings are perpendicular to the shaft of the flyer. If they're cockeyed, can cause some drag. So I just moved it, made it cockeyed, so now it doesn't spin well on its own. I want that to just spin like that. And then you also want to do the same thing for your bobbin. Just to make sure there's nothing on the bobbin shaft that's causing any drag. And just flick it, check it, make sure it's clear. If it's not clear, then there's an issue, and that's for another day. And that's typically for old wheels that people pick up and are trying to get back working again. So they tend to be all gooey and gummy from old lard type grease that was used, back in the 1800s when the wheel was being used back then. They don't use light oils like we use today. And so anyway, so I've got those three things done. So the wheel is spinning good, the flyer's spinning good, and the bobbin spins good. So now we're going to go ahead and set everything up. So there's nothing else for the wheel that I need to do. But what I need to do now is I need to tighten my tension a bit. So we're just going to swing this around, and we're going to get some tension on this a bit. And then I'm just going to spin it around, make sure my drive band is on. So I've got it on my small whirl and the bobbin on this particular wheel. And yes, if you're noticing on the screen over here, this wheel on the screen is the same as this wheel here. So now what we're going to do is going to thread my leader, which we made sure was tight a couple videos ago. And drive band is still good from a couple videos ago, though that was on a different wheel. And little bit of tension. So what I want to do is I want to hold my flyer and bobbin, and I just want to treadle. So hands off everything's spinning, the drive band is moving, but sliding on the whirls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly tension this. Now you can see a little movement, and it just took everything up, and now I'm ready to start. Doesn't mean my tension's correct for the yarn that I'm going to make. The thicker the yarn, the more tension you might need. But I like to go with very little tension, just enough to draw on without yanking yarn out of my hand. So when I spin really thin. So get my Rolag, do a little pre-draft on my Rolag, stretch it out, make it a little bit longer. So now I got a long one versus a short one. So pre-draft it out. It's fine. So now I'm going to reset my bobbin leader. So on my wheel I have hooks on the same side, but both arms offset from each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 hooks offset from each other, so I can flip back and forth as I'm filling my bobbin and make a nice smooth bobbin with this when it's done, instead of a big thick lumpy one. And since I spin thin, it's more important to have more hooks. And if I go thick, I don't have to use all the hooks. So that's also the benefit. So got my leader, got my yarn, pull a little bit through. Gonna go ahead and, so it's drawing on, but very lightly. So then I'm just gonna take it up, and it's taking it quite well. And I can also pull back on it, and it doesn't break my thread. If I needed more tension, I can, like at this point, if it felt like it was slipping too much, I can just stop, give a little bit, just a little bit at a time, or back it off a little bit, which I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to back it off. So you can see right now it starts to slip, but it'll eventually get it going. But it's slipping too much, so I got to give a little bit more. So just enough. So then I use both hands to control my thread. That's really all there is to adjusting tension. And just to let you know that if there's a problem, if it's not taking up, and you've got a lot of tension, then what you want to do is you want to look to make sure your bobbin is smooth, and this is before putting anything on it, and your flyer. They have to run smooth. If I bind it up, so I can bind it up here. Now it doesn't do anything, but I can tighten this, really crank down on this thing, and now it just popped off. But you could crank down on it enough to overcompensate. So I'm gonna do this here. And so I've got it bound up just a little bit. And now it's just moving just a little bit, but I've got quite a bit of tension on this. Add a little bit more tension. So what I've done there is now it's really pulling. But this is just spinning just good enough. But I've got too much tension. And so it doesn't, over-tightening and over-tensioning doesn't fix the problem. Now I have two problems. One is I'm bound up, and the other one is I've got too much tension. So I'm going to straighten this out again so it's nice and smooth. It doesn't move as much because I have tension on my drive band. And then I can back off a little bit. Add the tension back on, and now I'm back to what I need to be. And if I was going thicker yarn, I might have to put a little bit more tension on this. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you want to make sure that everything's running smooth first. And so that's just kind of the troubleshoot to make sure that your tension is set good. And then as you go and fill your bobbin. So we'll stop. And then I'll change a hook and go again, and we'll fill it up. And once the bobbin starts getting really full, it's a little heavier. So now I'm going to have to add just a little bit more tension to it. It really isn't that much as long as everything is running smoothly. Old spinning wheels tend to be gummed up, and you have to fix all that before you can use it and run it nice and smoothly like this. And so those are the things to look for if you have an old wheel. Just make sure that your main wheel is treadling and rotating smoothly and easy, and then check your flyer, make sure it's spinning freely. And then the one that trips a lot of people up is the bobbin, because the hole through the bobbin can get gummed up and also gummy on the shaft of the flyer that the bobbin rests on and cause it to be sticky. And the way I fix that is I find a drill bit that will fit through the bobbin, or at least halfway through the bobbin, and then but just the size of the bobbin hole, nothing bigger. And I take a drill bit and I just kind of ream it out, and that pulls all the greasy, sticky gunk out, and it cleans it really well. And then after that, I'll take some alcohol or something, and I'll put it on a paper towel, and I'll shove a paper towel through the hole on that, and then clean it out, and then it's usually pretty good. And also the shaft, I'll make sure the shaft is clean. If I can't get it all the way off the shaft, because it's sometimes pretty sticky and even alcohol doesn't always get it, take a little bit of sandpaper to it, clean it up, make a nice fresh surface, and then give it a little bit of sewing machine oil to oil it up, make it run smooth, and that usually does the trick. And then I find too, when I'm filling up my bobbin, when I put my first layer of thread on the bobbin, I put a little bit on, just a little thin layer, and then I move. And so this time here, what I'll do is I'm going to just go flip all the way over to this side. That way I'm not putting a gap, which I kind of have. I have a gap. And so I'm going to recap on this adjustment of the thread here, and I'm going to bring the camera over real close. Take a quick look, and then we'll wrap this up. But you want everything nice and loose and easy. So I use this and I pull against it, let it twist a little, pull some more, kind of my own little longer type setup. I don't pull against my bobbin because I can pull against it, so you can see that. Pull against there, and then let it take it up. Pull back, let it take up. So now I got to untwist some of this stuff, because I just over twisted it. So now I got another layer. So anyway, let me bring the camera over. I'll show you. In order to check if I have my drive band on it, I don't want to take anything apart. I just want to make sure that everything's good. I'll leave everything on, and I'm just going to back off and just let this hang loose like it's not even on there. And then I can take my bobbin, go backwards, forwards. Just a quick little flick. Works fine. So here what I'll do is I'll just undo that real quick. So that spins nice and freely. If I jam it up a little bit, now it doesn't want to do that. So I can't jam my bobbin up because my bobbin's smooth on the shaft on this wheel. And I don't have a really old wheel that needs fixed to show that. But trust me, that shaft can get gummy and make it stick on an old wheel. On your new wheel, you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you get a little bit of oil down on the shaft in there every once in a while. Just a little bit, a little drop. But you want to make sure that you're perpendicular here. So instead of being that way, I'll make sure it's nice and square, and that way it'll spin nice and free. And you also same on this side. But this one on my wheel, I can't turn it, but I can with this one. Not only can I turn it, but I can take it out. But I don't need to. So like that, everything's loose. Hold everything, treadle. Everything's good. Nothing is happening. There's not enough tension, so then I'll tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up. Bobbin's starting to turn. Flyer's not quite. A little bit more. And now I'm good. And I'll take my original hook. Shh. Hush. Yeah, I know. You can go get your ball. Put my original hook. This is original to this wheel. Put that in there. Swing my yarn around. Pull it through. It just hangs here. It's been here ever since I bought the wheel. I'll just draw some of this up, shorten this up a little bit because I made it kind of long. The other thing too, just a quickie, if you're going to be doing thin thread and you want to be consistent from day to day, if you are doing a project that's going to take many days, you can get a yarn gauge. These are found on Etsy. Lace weight, fingering, sport, DK, worsted, all that stuff, Arian, all the different sizes. And I also made a really small one for my really thin, ultra fine thread that I do. And you want your yarn to fit nicely in there. If it fits too thickly, then you're too thick for your finished. Your finished yarn, since it's going to be plied, will be at least double that, if not a little bit more. So now we're going to take this, going to start treadling, get that started. If you notice here, I'm kind of doing a little back twist on my thread. That helps the thread slide better. Helps me judge the thickness. Also keeps a little bit of tension on that thread so it doesn't come undone. So if I'm not sure if I'm still in my zone, I'll stop it. Bring my yarn gauge up and check. So we're right in that zone. So I'm thinner than lace weight. So when I'm done, this will be a thick lace weight 2-ply when I'm done. Swing that over and then start again. And that's why I have my tension set very lightly, because I spin very thin thread for fine fabric. Thicker for knitting, thicker for blankets if you're going to weave blankets. All that stuff. And then I'm going to check to see what my plied looks like. Make sure there's enough twist in it. Let it twist on itself. And that is a thin, actually more of a thin fingering weight is what that looks like. So that's what it's going to be. So quick and easy for making your adjustments, adjusting that tension, keeping your tension, and a little bit of troubleshooting. Make sure you're square, make sure you're oiled, and all the moving parts. Even down on your treadle, where your pegs go into your legs, a little tiny bit there too. Not very often at all. No oil on your adjustment peg, because that'll cause the wood to swell, and you don't want to do that. So I think there you have it. I think we covered our drive band tension just about right. And so we're going to be done with this one. Next one, I think I'm going to look at what to look for in an old wheel, on how to make sure everything's working. Hey, my spinning wheel's working over there. Anyway, if there's anything else, adjusting. So unfortunately, these don't adjust back and forth. It's kind of why I like Ashford wheels, even though I really like this wheel here. Ashford wheels are nice because they have a tilting bed, or tilting mother of all base. And not only does it tilt, it's also adjustable side to side, so you can have your whorls lined up with your wheel, whether it's a single drive Scotch or a double drive setup. And I have one of those that I converted to a double drive that used to be a single drive Scotch tension. So now it'll do both, Scotch tension and double drive. And it has double treadle on it. And I like that wheel. But this one is also a favorite. This is my first wheel that I bought for myself. So for me, this one has history. The people I bought it from bought it in Italy, and this wheel was actually made in Canada. And the people who owned it, it sat in the living room as a piece of artwork. It was never actually used as a spinning wheel. They never spun with it. I was the first one to spin with it. And so here it is. Love it. So anyway, we'll talk later, and we'll come up with another little tidbit for adjusting, troubleshooting your wheel if you have any troubleshooting issues or whatnot. And if you have any issues, contact me in the comments below, and we'll help talk you through this stuff. And if you're on a Facebook page, forum type thing, let me know where you're at, and we can throw up videos on Facebook, and you can show what needs to be done, and myself and others can help you work it out. So I'm on wool spinning, I'm on flax sites, all that stuff. So anyway, you'll find me around, and we'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching.